My pupils have literally fallen in love with mathematics, and I'm here to share the secrets. The Farafina Star Math textbook, ranging from book 1 all the way to book 6. Any primary school or elementary school teacher or math teacher that gets hold of this book will give it a tight hug. Let me tell you why. The first thing is the fact that it has characters that are so relatable and are consistent from the beginning of the book all the way till the end. So the children can relate with the characters from one topic to another. And then it is so colorful. The pictures, every child that picks this book will want to open it and flip through the pages over and over again. The activities in this book are in form of puzzles, games, and treasure hunts. I remember when I was teaching fraction in primary 5, and the children had to learn how to reduce to the lowest term. We found this activity that caught the children's attention, and even when they thought they were playing a game, I was excited that they were learning. I remember also in primary 6, when we were learning about decimals, there was this group game where the children worked in pairs to play a game, and they used dice, like a Ludo game, and they were able to solve lots of questions without realizing. That's the best part, without realizing. They get to have fun and they get to achieve the objectives of the lesson. I think that's a win-win. If you are a primary school teacher or an elementary school teacher or a maths teacher, I don't know what you're waiting for. You need to get hold of this Star Maths textbook. And that's not all. It comes with number cards. These cards help with some of the activities that are inside the textbook. So resources. And the best part is that this has an online platform where you also have the content and much more fun activities for the children.
Morning. Excited that we're going to have a very good time this morning. Do not mind my casual appearance. I do love to feel I'm still on holiday. Okay, good. So thank you very much for that introduction. We are good to go. We are set to go. I'm going to share my screen in a minute, and then we'll move on. So talking about differentiation, it's something that I've really been passionate about. Okay, I've always been passionate about differentiation. I've seen different modes and formats of differentiation. Some have had questions. Often I've had questions like that, and I've also loved the way some are done. I've loved so many strategies, and I've seen people getting it wrong. I've seen people doing the right thing. I've seen people having the right intentions, but the execution is faulty. I've seen a lot of things. So I want us to go on this ride together. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, good. So we are on. Okay, beautiful. So talking about differentiation, this is a very, very engaging topic. Though our meeting is online, we do have a collaboration activity towards the end of it. I'm going to see how we are going to make that work. It's going to be a bit demanding, but let's see how we'll make it work. Okay, good. So let's go. Our content, we are going to be looking at these topics. We're going to be having our preliminary talk. That's basically where we introduce ourselves. Talking about the objectives of this workshop, introducing the main topic, looking at the principles as well. We're going to look at the principles, and we are going to talk about collaboration also. Okay. So preliminaries, like I said, there's a link already pinned to the chat. If you click on it, you'll be able to, I'm going to be tracking right here on my mobile device. It will be very, very lovely if you can join, if you are in this meeting via your laptop. It's going to create a little bit of a challenge if you are going to be using Google Slides on your mobile device. So what I will be just using my mobile device for the tracking. So good. So what are you known for? Let us know you. Click on the link that is pinned on the chat and just pick a slide for yourself, and let's see if we can get to know each other. I have picked slide 1. That's my name, and that's my how I currently engage with learners in numeracy. I actually teach year 4 and 5 numeracy. So let's see if others can just introduce themselves briefly that way. So just pick a slide and let's see what we can do with this. You need to pick a slide for yourself. That is my own slide. Slide 1 is my own slide. You need to pick a slide for yourself. You could pick slide 2. You could pick slide 3, because we are going to be doing a lot of it's a workshop. So you are going to be doing a lot of content creation yourself. So you will need to pick a slide for yourself. I have picked slide 1. I want somebody else to pick slide 2, and on like that. So if we are 20 in this meeting, maybe we'll need to have up to 20 other slides filled up. I see someone on slide 5. Well done. Thank you for picking that. Okay, well done on slide 5. So let's move on. So that is it. That's basically the preliminary for us there. Let's not wait so much for that. So then objectives, what do you want to take home from this workshop? It would be good for you to be able to note a point. What do you want to take home from this workshop? What do you want to take home from this workshop? What do you want to take home from this workshop? What do you want to take home from this workshop? Note a point. If you have your Google slides already opened, you can just note it right under. Note one point that you want to take home from this workshop. So if you are unable to, I see so many of us have not been able to get on the slide, okay, you can use the chat box, please. Do use the chat box if that's convenient for you. Thank you very much. Let's move on. Use the chat box if you're unable to get along on Google Slides. So it's going to make collaboration a bit more difficult for us. Okay, good. So the objectives for this workshop are as follows: to look at the concept and the principles of differentiation in numeracy. And we also want to explore the strategies. So we want to explore the strategies that we'll probably be needing for differentiation, effective differentiation. Then we also want to collaborate on planning a differentiated numeracy lesson. So those are the things we want to look at in this meeting today. So why do we need to differentiate? You can put your answers in the chat box quickly. If you have access to the Google Slides already and you can manipulate it, please do use the Google Slides. Why do we need to differentiate? So I see nothing on the chart. I see nothing on the chart. Let's see if we have any responses. Okay, good. So I see a response on slide 3. Okay, so why do we need to differentiate? These are the major reasons why we will need to differentiate. Number one being that not all students learn the same way or at the same pace. Of course, this is very, very evident in all lessons, not just numeracy. Students do not learn at the same pace. So we also know that it builds confidence when your content particularly is differentiated, and a child can look at a certain step or a certain stage of the lesson and like, yes, I do know this. I do know this, and it builds confidence gradually to attack or to even attempt even more difficult problems. It encourages deeper understanding, and it definitely builds engagement in your lessons. It's not that throughout the lesson the child did not see anything that he or she will do in your lesson. So that's what it does. So let's look at this phase. We want to look at what is differentiation. What is differentiation? I hope someone can unmute. I just want someone to say something. I don't feel like I'm talking alone here. This is a workshop. Okay, so can someone unmute? Is it possible for someone to unmute admin? Is it possible for someone to unmute? Please, can I have someone else unmute and let us know what differentiation means to them? Anyone?
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, sir.
Good
morning,
morning.
ma'am.
Can I go ahead?
Okay. Differentiation simply means presenting the same lesson in different ways in order to reach out to every child in the class.
Beautiful. That is very well said. What's your name, ma'am?
Mrs. Onyebule.
Very much. Thank you very much, man. That was beautiful. I had another gentleman in the background. What does the differentiation mean to you, sir?
Hello, can I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Please do go ahead.
Yes, for my own end, differentiation is the ability to cater for the needs of the children using different learning styles or profiles.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Different learning styles. The most important thing about differentiation is the fact that you have to vary a lot of things. You have to put a lot of things into consideration, and it takes proper planning to be able to implement it effectively. We have so many definitions for differentiation, but the key thing I want us to bring out is that it has to be different strategies, different approaches, not necessarily too far off in terms of content, but totally different approach, simpler approach. Some children will need a simpler approach to address the problem. Some will need will not need that. Will be able to use even more complex strategies to solve even more complex problems. So this is what differentiation is, according to Carol Al Tomlinson. It says differentiation is responsive teaching. The key word there is responsive. You have to respond to what you know of your learners and what you are expecting. Is responsive teaching that tailors content, process, product, and environment based on students' needs. We definitely know that student needs are very, very varied. Some children love to hear you talk. Once they hear it, they know it. Some children want to do it. If they don't do it, they will not learn it. So children are all very varied, and so we should try to implement this in our lessons. Let's move on from here. So what aspects of a lesson are differentiated in your chat, in the chat, or on your Google slides? If you have chosen a slide to yourself, that would have been wonderful. But I see that we are not making use of the slides. The slides, I said the link to the slides is pinned in the chat box. The link to the slides is pinned on the chat box. I think, can the admin help me resend the link to the slides? I think those who joined in later did not see it. So if the link to the slides is reshared, that would be beautiful. We can all be able to see what everyone is writing. You might even fall in love with someone's understanding our approach towards the topic, and you can follow up on that person's slide as it were throughout this workshop. So what aspects of a lesson are differentiated? If you have the link to the slides, it would be good for you to go to the slides. What aspects of a lesson are differentiated? And if you do not, you can use the chat. What aspects of a lesson can we differentiate? What aspects of a lesson can we differentiate?
Hello, can I go ahead?
Go ahead, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. One of those things that we normally differentiate is the learning objectives. We look at the learning objectives, then we look at the setting. Probably sometimes we can group them depending on their level, but majorly is a learning objective, which at the end of the day will give us the feedback on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. The learning objectives, I would liken this to content. The contents that will be like the content. So what aspects of a lesson are differentiated? We have it here. Aspects of a lesson to differentiate: content, process, and product. So what does it mean to differentiate content? what does it mean to differentiate the process, and what does it mean to differentiate the product? If you can type in the chat, just pick one of these and write on it. What does it mean? What it means to differentiate either content, process, or product? So you can type in the chat and respond to one of them. So I'll be having a look and see how far we've gone with that. Okay. Yes, I see. Miriam. Miriam says our learners are not the same and they don't learn the same way. That's good. I saw that on film 3. Let's see film 8. There's no content of film 8. On film 10, I see someone is trying to type something on film 10. The content on film 10 is too small for me to view on my mobile device here. Okay, so let's move on. So what does it mean to differentiate content? What does it mean to differentiate process and the product? But to differentiate content, it means we want to vary what our students are learning. We want to vary what our students are learning, not in the sense of we're making it totally different. It's not like some are learning addition while some are learning multiplication. No, that's not it. We want to vary the content. When we get to the sample, we'll see exactly what that means. The process means we want to vary how the students learn. How are they going to learn these things? And the product is how do they demonstrate? What kind of evaluation strategies do you have to check out what they have learned? So now, samples, how do we implement all of these? Look at under the samples for content, those who are low achievers, what sometimes we would call all can add 2-digit numbers. By the time you get to the high achievers, some can add 3-digit numbers. Looking at this, can someone give me some on mute and let us find out if there's a way we can put something for medium achievers that is totally different from the LA and the HA. Anyone can someone unmute, the first person to unmute. What can we do for the MA in between the LA and the HA, and that they will have a differentiated content? Anyone? I think I might want to call on someone. Anyone at all?
Okay, good morning, sir. Can I go ahead?
Good morning, ma'am. Yes, please, go ahead, ma'am.
Josephine Cotton speaking. Okay, so in relation to addition, for the LA, that's the lower achievers, let's take, for example, we are doing single-digit addition. So for them, we could give them manual operations, like maybe 2 + 3 = 5. Then for the high achievers, we could relate it to word problems. The same single digits, but word problems that requires critical thinking. Like maybe 2 bananas plus 3 apples will give us how many fruits altogether. I don't know if I'm on track there. The same content, different tasks.
That's a very good way to look at it. I like that. But I was hoping to see, imagine you are collaborating with other teachers, and we have these differentiated content for the LA and the HA. What will be your contribution following these samples that we have on the screen? What will be your contribution for the MA? Imagine this is a collaboration activity, and someone has already added that for the LA they need to add 2-digit numbers. Another person added that for the HA they need to add 3-digit numbers. Your own aspect is to do the MA. What would you as a member of that team, put in for content for the MA, medium achievers. So that was the context in which I was looking at this. Well, anyone, is there a way we can slot in something in between and create that for the MA without deviating from what the LA and HA have already created? Anybody in 5 seconds?
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
I don't want to go again. And
Yes,
we are
right.
learning. And
Yeah.
okay, so I don't know. Maybe for the MA, for the medium achievers, could it still be the same single digit but higher numbers instead of 2 and 3? Maybe we'll go as high as 7, 8, 9, or does it have to be something totally, different? So we are still doing single digit addition, and for the MA, we're still doing manual operations but higher digit numbers.
Okay.
Is that
I like
we are learning?
I like your tenacity, Josephine. That's very good. But what if for the MA, and imagine the LA, they are adding 2-digit numbers, probably adding 2-digit numbers to 1 digit, or adding 2 digits to 2 digits. The objective did not clarify. Okay, so that gives you room to operate. So adding 2-digit numbers, it could be to 1 digit without renaming. It could be to 2 digits without renaming. Now, I'm thinking for the MA, we can still do 2-digit numbers, but this time 2-digit numbers to 2-digit numbers with renaming. And then the HA, we can expand the HA to be add 3-digit numbers to 2-digit numbers with renaming. So the LA are adding 2-digit numbers. It could be to 1 digit or 2 digits, but without renaming. The MA with renaming, and the HA, we extend it to 3-digit numbers to either 2 or even to also 3-digit numbers, also with renaming. So there's a whole lot of way we can. The most important aspect I want us to take out from this discussion right now is we can actually look at a set of objectives and be able to create scaffolded content for all our children. I know some schools do not use LA, MA, HA. They use all can, most can, and some can. So it's basically the same thing. All can add 2-digit numbers without renaming. So add 2-digit numbers to 2-digit numbers without renaming. Most can add 2-digit numbers. So 2-digit numbers with renaming, while the HA will be some can add 3-digit numbers to 2-digit numbers with renaming. So ability to expand our mind and see it is not about black and white. It's about a whole lot of shades of gray in between. There's so many things we can slot in between, a whole lot of shades of gray. I kind of love looking at objectives and slotting as many things in between. That has been my passion, slotting so many things in between. As a matter of fact, if you want to make it a 5-tiered objective, it's possible. A 5-tiered outcomes for one single objective. The one single objective for this particular content seems to be addition of numbers. So if you can slot in as many, the better. So it gives you, as a teacher, when you train yourself to slot in as many in between, it gives you ability to be able to differentiate even more easily. This is what I've observed over the years. Now let's look at the process. The LA will be able to use counters for addition, definitely. Imagine this was a year 1 lesson. LAs will be able to use counters for addition, while the HA use facts like number bonds to sum mentally. Okay, then what would the MA be able to do? How are we going to differentiate the process for the middle achiever? Remember that majority of the learners in your lesson are probably middle achievers. It's going to be like a parabola kind of thing. The low achievers will be minimal, the high achievers probably higher than the low achievers, but not as much as those in the middle. So because that's exactly how the society is mostly. So what do you think we'll be able to put in for the MA in this regard? So let's leave that as a food for thought and move on, because I'm looking at the time right now. So I don't want us to exceed 11 a.m. in this meeting. So let's look at product. How will students demonstrate their learning? The LA probably will be able to solve their basic arithmetic with color method. That's how they will present their work. They'll present it in color method so that they will be able to use their counters, if necessary, use their counters to do their addition, and then they're able to put in their answers in columns. I expect the HA to be able to solve it even horizontally, because they know, like, imagine you have 301, for instance, plus 56. 301 plus 56. Someone who is HA should be able to look at 301 as 300, okay, and then keep the one for later. And they should be able to add 56 to 300 and then put in the one much later. Horizontal method should suffice for those in HA according to this lesson. So those are the kind of strategies that as teachers will build over time when we expand, increase the time we spend on applying our lessons. So let's look at something else, please. Look at this activity. This is something I use in an actual lesson. I actually also used it in a CPD session in my school. It's an activity for a year 4 lesson on the fractions of amount. Now look at the green level is for the HA. In my lessons, I use green level, yellow level, red level. What I do is practically everyone gets opportunity to solve the same questions. I take the burden off myself to classify my children. I take the burden off. I usually do not do that, though I know their classifications. Sometimes I tend to, depending on the kind of activity I want to carry out, I tend to put them in groups. So every lesson is different. So for the first 5 minutes of my lesson, it's always fun. It's always here and there. Everybody's always scattered and things like that, just because I want us to be able to get our lessons. So who are you going to sit with today? It creates some form of excitement in the morning. So for this particular activity, they were sitting in groups. I had it on my slide, but I did not project it yet. I gave them their instructions. Those in the LA, I gave them this instruction. They were going to use the grid to find 2/3 of 12 kilograms. And those in the middle achievers, they had to use calculations to solve it. 2/3 of 12 kilograms. How do you find 2/3 of 12 kilograms? Mind you, we've not done this before. Then the high achievers, I gave them these word problems, and they all had their peers to work with. So you find out that the as basic as using this grid could be, some will still have issues with it. So at the end of the activity, what we did is to now solve this as a class. So what I did was to find someone from the MA to solve the LA problem. And that was easy for them because they could. So when children see their peers solving a particular problem, it's easier for them to be able to comprehend than for you teacher to always throw in answers here and there. So it's always very easier that way. Now for the MA problem, you find someone in the HA to come solve it. Now for the HA problem, once the MA problem is solved, the HA problem is easy. It's basically being able to pick the necessary calculations to do. Now let's move on. So this is what I did. Any observations or comments on this? Any contributions or as to how I could have made it better? Anyone, please? Any comments? It could be a comment, it could be a question, it could be a suggestion. Anyone, please?
Hello, can I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. In fact, awesome presentation. I even love the color differentiation that you used. rather than tagging the children that you are in group A, group B, group C. You know, with that color combination, it helps them to feel a sense of belongings, and they'll be able to do a lot of tasks. I really love that concept. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks, sir. Give me a second, please, gentlemen. So for me, basically, I don't like tagging children. It gives them the kind of feeling that my teacher believes I can't do a yellow level question. And the way usually I extend my lessons is that once you are able to clear the green level questions, you move to the yellow level questions. As a matter of fact, everyone can do every question. Everyone starts from the green level, but you will find out that only your HA will be able to finish up. Your MA will get to their own level, definitely. And at the end of the lesson, we have these check boxes we tick. Once we do our review and our corrections, you will tick which level you got to. If you got to the yellow level, but you didn't get any questions right, that means you are only able to achieve green level objective. So you tick green level for yourself. If you are able to get to the red level and you got at least one question right, you will tick the red level. So that's like a feedback mechanism that we use in numeracy departments where I work. So that's what we do. So you will see after this activity, there's a classwork that comes. You will see the way it also goes as well. It will lay credence to the activities that we did here. So these activities basically help with the classwork, and it doesn't. It makes it easier for you as a teacher to just relax. Not that while the children are having their classwork, that's when you now start explaining, because the activities would have done all of it. Let's move on. So the principles: can differentiation be done wrong? Note that one scenario. How can differentiation be done wrong? How can it be done wrong? What are the differences when you get differentiation wrong? How can we get differentiation wrong? Anybody, any scenario where someone will get it wrong? Okay, good. So I will move on because we still have some tasks ahead. Yes, number one, when you play it too safe with tax difficulty, when you play too safe, for the sake of your low achievers, you now tend to water down what they're supposed to learn because you want them to feel like they have achieved something. So you water it down so they're able to solve that. And the result of this is that when exam comes, I want to say I know that most schools don't give separate exams to low achievers, mostly. Yes, you might actually give them support for those that are actually unique learners, what we call SEN. We might actually give exam access support to some of them. But for low achievers, those who are in the green region, we do not necessarily need to tone down the level of difficulty. When you tone down the level of difficulty to make them feel involved, you are not challenging them. And once it's not challenging, they take that into exams and they don't really know what to do. So that's one way we can get differentiation wrong. Another thing it can do is when the main task is too difficult, when nobody at all has any idea what to do with the topic. So what I do usually when a topic is totally new to them, like when I wanted to teach ratio in year 5, you can, since we all have digital classrooms right now, you can actually assign a video ahead, like a week ahead at least. If you're teaching it in week 6, week 5 on Monday, the video should be up. Then as you teach at the end of each lesson every day, remind them that next week we are starting with ratio, the video is up. There's a quiz coming up on Wednesday on it. It's a quiz. It is not necessarily you get 10-10, but watch the video before you attempt the quiz. And it kind of prepares them. You flip your classroom. That way they understand a little concept about it, even though you've not taught it. So when you come into class and you do a differentiation, it will not be too difficult. So even though the concept itself is a bit esoteric to them, it's something they've not learned before. By the time you do this flipped classroom model, it makes it a bit easier. So you will not have done a differentiation wrongly. So Wrong or fixed grouping. Fixed grouping is this child is MA, that is where you will belong. And when the child is done with MA questions, what do? Is it that the child sits down doing nothing else, I am done, and keeps disturbing the whole class? No. Or when you assign an extension activity, the extension activity does not mean more MA questions. If someone is a middle achiever and you give this person more middle achiever questions, it is not extension. It is not extension. You have not properly differentiated that. What we expect to happen is, let's see if this particular child can progress up. But that's why you see the green, yellow, and red level questions that I use in my activities. What I do is, once you are done with your green level activity, move on to your yellow level if you can. Once you are done with your yellow level and have come around and have seen what you've done, you move on to the red level. So many yellow level ability children move on to red level. They might not be able to solve a question, but at least they have seen it, they have challenged themselves with it, and which is good. So when you fix a child in a particular group consistently, and the child does not see any avenue, any opportunity that you are giving him or her to move ahead, man, you are not helping.
Let's assume that you are in the examination.
Thank you. Okay, so that's what we're saying. Once you fix a child in a group permanently or consistently without any opportunity to move on, then so let every child know that I have the opportunity to move on to the yellow level questions once I'm done with my green level question. So if the child does not get there, it is not you. If the child does not get there, it is not you. So don't let the child go out with the idea my teacher does not believe I can do this. No, let it be the child's ability that differentiates them. That's what I really love to do. I find it very difficult to. I've seen some levels of differentiation. Let me say this. I've seen schools that I've done trainings with that the way they differentiate is if you are LA, you will only see LA questions. You get only LA questions. You get only LA worksheets. And if you are done with that LA worksheet, you get more LA worksheets. You will not see or have an idea what the LA children are doing. And that is very, very wrong. That is fixed grouping. The child is being, how do I put it, discrimination. So that's exactly what we are doing. If you do differentiation wrongly, the child will, in his or her own mind, know that is what you are doing. They might not be able to express it, not able to say it, but they will know. When I got to where I work now, to Grange, my first year, when parents saw green, yellow, red level questioning in my slides, they were like, Mr. Robert, I love the fact that a parent whose child is LA, I love the fact that my child doesn't feel like he has no access to MA questions or HA questions. Every child has access to it. You can actually get there. If you don't get there, it is on you. Okay, it is your level of comprehension. Okay, it's not like the teacher did not give you opportunity to get it. That is very, very key for me. Let's move on. Overcomplicated planning, where we make so much plans that you now have so much activities that you cannot conclude in your lesson. Poor planning for extension, I already mentioned this, and partial differentiation. You have differentiated the content, you did not differentiate the process, or you have differentiated the process, you did not differentiate the content. Like that example I gave, the content was not differentiated. If you take note, the content was not differentiated. This content is basically the same, being that it's a first lesson. It's a first lesson, the first introduction to the topic. The content was not differentiated. Let us all learn the basic. Then as we go ahead, you will start seeing, we all know that 3 is a factor of 12. It's easier to do the calculation. As we go ahead, you start seeing more difficult questions. Let's move on. So collaboration. I was going to say that we should make outcomes to the set objectives. What is the set objectives I want us to work on? But unfortunately, because I'm looking at the Google slides, it's definitely not being made use of so well. So we will not be able to do that level of collaboration for now. So what we'll do is this. This is my objective now, multiplication. So we want to talk about multiplication of numbers for a year two class, for instance. Now, multiplication of numbers for a year two class. So do you think you can come up with outcomes for that? The objective is for the children to carry out multiplication of 2-digit numbers by 1-digit number. Do you think you can come out with outcomes for LANAHA? If you can, let's see how that looks in the chart. I'm looking at the chart now. Multiplication of numbers. I want to look into the chart now. Okay, good. So I'm seeing a number of cards here. Okay. Let's see. Oluwajano, thank you very much for that comment. Just reading cartoon. Thank you very much for your comment. Can someone give us outcomes for this objective, multiplication of 2-digit numbers by 1-digit number, probably for year 2, year 3? Outcomes. Or anyone wants to discuss possible outcomes they will be able to create for that objective. So the plan was for us to break into groups. If the Google Slides were properly utilized, I would have broken us into groups. Those on slides 1, 2, 3 can go to slide 1 and then collaborate. Those on slides 4, 5, 6 can go to slide 4 and collaborate. And that would have been what would have been possible, but we are not using it. Okay, good. So anybody, outcomes, or am I free to call on anyone? Outcomes for multiplication of 2-digit numbers by 1-digit number. Anyone at all? Okay, let me go ahead and call someone. Okay, I see someone here. I see a very bold picture here. Oluwaseun, can you help us, sir? Can you help us with any, even if it's just the LA or NA or HA, multiplication of 2-digit numbers by 1-digit number, probably year 2 or 3 class? Mr. Oluwaseun, can you help us, sir?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. So I'd like to talk about the LA.
Okay.
Okay. The outcome should be probably to first of all start with multiplying 2-digit number by a digit number with small numbers that will have to do without renaming. Okay.
Thank you very much.
So as to, yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. So no renaming at all. Beautiful. Thank you very much, sir. Example, sir. Any example?
Okay, like 23 times 2.
Beautiful. I love that, sir. That definitely works in that regard. Anybody for the NA, please? Anybody for the MA? Anybody for the MA? Anybody at all for the MA? I see a very bold female picture here. Oluwakemi, can you help us, ma'am? MA, we have an example for our NA 23 times 2. I didn't get that.
I'm on NA.
Okay, I get. Okay, somebody else is. Thank you very much, someone else is saying something.
Okay, yes, for MA, we have 2 digit by 1 digit, and then the renaming should be on the units only. You have a renaming, but on the units only. So we can have something like where we have only, yes, like what he said, we can still have the same 26 by 2. So it's now the renaming is only on the units.
On the units, beautiful. The renaming on the okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. That is very much appreciated. So we already have an example for LA, which is 23 times 2. For our MA, we have an example 26 times 2, renaming only on units. I'm taking note of that. There's something to say. Anybody with to help us with HA? HA.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, they can also multiply 2 digits by 2 digits with either renaming.
Sorry, sir. The objective is 2 digits by 1 digit. We are looking at it.
Okay, they can also multiply it using the. Yes, they can also multiply it using the expansion method.
Okay. Using the expansion method. Are you talking about multiplying 2 digits by 2 digits or 2 digits by 1 digit? By 1 digit, right? Hello, sir. By 1 digit.
Yes, by 1 digit.
Using the expansion
Still by
method.
1 digit. Hello.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. That is appreciated. Yes. Thank you very much, sir. Well done, sir. I like that.
So can I say something, sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
All right. When we are looking at the LA and MA, what I was thinking about was the fact that some of them would probably still struggling with their multiplication table, and then when you look at the HA, some of them might have gone as far as 8 times table or 9 times table. So we could actually increase the size of numbers that they are going to multiply. Like something like 93 times 5 or times 6 or something like that.
Beautiful, sir. Very well done. I love that. I like the fact that you are thinking exactly what I would do. The LA 23 times 2, love it. There's no renaming anywhere. Everything is simple as it comes. Then the MA, I love that example that was given, but what I think is when the renaming is with the units, that is where the problem always is. So I would love it if the renaming was for the MA was for the tens and not the units. Because the problem usually is children at this stage always tend to forget what they carry. So when the renaming is at the unit, it creates that problem. So it's better if renaming for the MA is at the tens. For instance, 73 times 2. We are still multiplying by 2. But when we make it 73 times 2, your renaming is at the tens. So the child already knows that I am done with 2 times 3. All I need now to do is 2 times 7, 14. I'm going to write my 14. There's no need to carry it anywhere. So 14 times, the renaming the carrying should be at the tens, not at the unit. Then for the HA, the renaming can be both sides. Both sides, as in both sides. Or we can, even the HA, we can do the earlier questions, renaming on the unit, and the latter questions, renaming on both sides. And that's a very well differentiated lesson. That is a very well differentiated outcomes for that objective. So let's move on from here. when we differentiate, what we are supposed to work in groups to differentiate the content, differentiate the process, and differentiate the product. But I want to bypass this because it may be a bit different. Someone actually said something that about process the other time. Somebody said we should use the expansion method for the HA, which is definitely talking about the process. So the process is another kettle of fish. How do you get it done? So we've talked about differentiating the content when we talk about the objective and the outcome. So differentiating the process is the strategies each achieving group will use to get their work done. And the product definitely is related to the process. How will you assess them? Okay, so let's move on. There's something I want to show. Yes, this is exactly what my class will look for, that activity. So, of course, the numeracy note is filled with grades for numbers. So, the LA started, everybody started with the green level questions. So everybody was able to, after we've learned it as in peers, we've learned it as a class in the activities, we've reviewed it. After we've reviewed it, then we can now move on to the calculations. So for the yellow level, you've got your answers in do calculations, 3/4 of 20. So use calculation method now. Then after that, the HA, very few people got here. HA will be able to now create word problems. Like there was a word problem in the activity. So there's a sample already discussed in class that we reviewed together as a class. But subsequently in the classwork, they will be able to do it themselves. I found that for a year 4 lesson, only few, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 out of a class of 20 were actually able to give very, very outstanding questions, which is okay. You have challenged them. They have been introduced to it. Those ones that actually did a good job with the red level questions can actually teach that lesson. And that's the exact thing we are looking for. Very few will be at that level. Very few will remain at the green level. Majority will be at the yellow level. So that shows that your lesson has been well differentiated according to content. Difficulty levels varied. So let's see. Now I want to look at exam questions. We all know that exams basically are not different for LA. They're not different for MA. They're not different for HA as well. So this is what our exam questions look like. Low level questions should be in the range of 40%. Medium level questions should be in the range of 40%. And high level questions should be in the range of 20%. So everyone will have something they can do. So those who are low achievers should be able to do enough of the questions to make them feel comfortable. Frankly speaking, this is a standard, but I personally would have loved it if 50% of the questions are low-level questions. But considering the fact that majority of your learners are in the medium level, if you add medium level to low level, that's already 80%. So at least a child that is in medium level and makes 1 or 2 errors, just a few errors, should be able to answer 70% questions right. So if you have access to 80% of questions that you know, and you miss 10% basically because of 1 error or the other, you should be able to get 70% correct. And that is definitely beyond a C for most schools. Then those who are exceptional should be able to get to 90%. So that's exactly what we are looking at. So as we differentiate, we need to keep in line, we need to keep ourselves in check with the teaching and learning principles in our various schools. We also need to keep in check also what a standard evaluation or a standard assessment test looks like. It is very important. If differentiation is not properly done, your low achievers will not have any idea what the high level questions look like. So the more you expose them to green level, yellow level, and red level questions, let everyone have the opportunity to be able to solve them, review them even after they've done their peer reviews in their groups, review as a whole class, use your spinner to pick people at random to answer questions, expose everyone to the same questions. Even if the low level achievers cannot get to the point where they have to answer high level questions, they should have an idea what it looks like. They should have an idea how to prepare for it. Areas that we share homes, just able to as they can. Expose this children, they might as well be the level where they have now. And that's the whole essence. Gradually improving their capacity, but making sure that they have a higher goal in sight. That is the essence. So then on to the main point. Let's talk about the main points of today's lesson. Anybody wants to say something that we need to discuss, or something that has been left out that is very pertinent to this particular lesson, or this particular workshop? Anybody, please. I welcome contributions to principles left out, strategies left out, what you love about what we've talked about so far, what you've gained, what we can add as a knowledge to take home. Anybody else? Anybody, please.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. In the first place, thank you so much for a good presentation. In fact, the question I wanted to ask was towards the end, you have been able to conclude it, because I was looking at the aspect that different, even with the different differentiation, I'm looking at the end product towards the examination, and I can see that from the conclusion with what you have done, like 40%, 40%, 10%, and 20%, which cut it across the different levels that are existing in that class, which I love so much. It's a very good turning point for me, which I believe I can still use. But I'm looking at it. It can also be adjusted, right? Depending.
Definitely.
Can we?
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Okay.
It can be adjusted.
Okay.
If you think the classroom, that particular year group is skewed, that you have a lot of low achievers, you can make your LA questions 50%.
Awesome. So if I
definitely.
Awesome. I really dug that, because that has been a major challenge that we have been having. Generally you have differentiation and every other thing, but when it comes to exam, just find that the exam will just cut across without considering the levels of the children, which is a problem.
It's the same thing.
At the end of the day, you find that the children are failing more. So now to ask why? The question why are they failing? Do you understand? So I've been able to get a conclusion from that. Thank you so much for a very good presentation. Well done.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Maybe one or two more comments, then we can call it a day, and I can give one or two parting words. Any more comments?
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's a very good presentation. I've learned a lot. Especially the answer I gave in differentiating the units. By the time you explained it, it was much more clearer, because the carrying will not happen in that tense. They will just write the whole answer. So I really learned a lot, especially when we talk of especially the process. It was well explained. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, at this point, I think it's safe to call it a day. Thank you very much. I love the fact that we participated and we gave our input into everything that was done. Thank you so very much. The process of differentiation has always. Okay, thank you very much, man. You want to say something else?
Yes, I want to appreciate you for this session you've had with us. I've come to understand that for each topic, yeah, there is a different way of meeting the different learners. Because even using the example of 2 digits, either multiplying or adding by one or by 1 digit, it seems straightforward, simple. It seems like just a normal thing, but different approaches with the
Yeah.
same topic. Yeah, thank you very much, and God bless you.
So my main concern has always been when we don't do differentiation, I am not bothered. But when we do differentiation wrong, we end up labeling these children. And in today's world, where safeguarding is a major issue, we cannot continue discriminating against children, all in the name of differentiation. Every learner needs to have access to every level of questioning. Even if we differentiate instruction in classrooms and put them in groups, by the time we want to do a general review, one way or the other, let everyone participate across board. Don't be scared to pick someone from the LA to answer a MA or HA question when we are doing the general review. All you will do is give hints, and you will find out that even this LA can say something about a word problem that you think is for HA. Once you give hints, and those HA seated will be itching, and they will be itching like, Mr. Robert, let me answer it, let me answer it. Everybody deserves an opportunity in your lesson. Carry everyone along. It is extremely important. And let your children, your learners know that you're not there to teach only a set of people. You're there to teach everyone. That's why it's important for us to plan properly. When we over plan and over structure our differentiated lessons and put in too much, we will not be able to attend to everyone. But by the time we plan in such a way that my former head of school had always said something: make your objective simple. If your objective is a one-sentence objective, not more than 1.5 lines, you will find out that your outcomes will become clearer. And you will not be running from pillar to post, teaching different things in a lesson. It is extremely important, ladies and gentlemen. This is a topic very key to my heart, because when done wrongly, we let the children lose out eventually. Thank you very much. I appreciate your presence. Sibiado.
Hello. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, I just have a question to ask. For like the children that we are differentiating, the LA, by time for a classwork, for example, if we should differentiate and the children you have differentiated for, maybe the LA got all their questions correct and the HA gets their questions correct, how will you allocate the marking, for example? Are you going to mark them the same, give them the same scores, or are you going to?
Beautiful. I love that. I so much love that. The general trend now is for classwork and class activities, scoring is becoming old-fashioned. Scoring class activities, classwork, individual tasks in their notes is becoming old-fashioned. Except, of course, if you do scoring, you score based on levels. So, for instance, if I have a class activity and in total, I have 12 questions. So for my green level questions, I have 4. For my yellow level questions, I have 4. For my red level questions, I have 4. I'm going to score you based on each level. For green level questions, I'm going to probably write 4/4 if I choose to score 4/4. For your yellow level, if you have got it to that point and you get 2 out of 4 correct, I'm going to give you 2/4. If you've not done red level, I'm going to totally ignore it. So that will even help you in your feedback to me to tick that you have achieved, because there's something that they stick in their notes at the beginning of the week. To tick that for this particular lesson, I was able to achieve yellow level. You tick it. And that gives me a sense of measurement. And someone, your supervisor or your head of school, who picks up the children's notes will be able to easily see the progression in the child's development. If the child throughout the whole term does not go beyond the green level, then you need to do something on how to help that child. So it's also very good for data tracking. So scoring is becoming old-fashioned, and if at all you will do it, you do it based on ability levels. Score the green level, then the questions that follow are yellow levels, then score the yellow level. If the child does not get to the red level, you don't need to say anything about it. But also, because the world is becoming a digital place, all materials definitely do go home. So all the questions for the red level for that particular day should be on your digital classroom. Does that answer the questions, ma'am?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm grateful. And I've really learned
Mrs.
to know.
Ikotu, hand is up too. Mrs. Ikotu, I
Yes,
see your hand is
sir.
up.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for an enlightening session. I appreciate the fact that aside from differentiation, there were some other key things you noted, you hinted on that weren't really directly related to this, but in a way has actually opened my eyes to a better understanding, like the part of the flipped classroom. You mentioned the fact that I don't really have to teach before assessing children. The fact that I can start an activity to even understand their level of learning, and I can actually post and videos ahead of a particular class that might be tricky for them. That gave me a new idea to flip classroom today, and I appreciate that. So the question is, I don't want to drag us back. So I don't know if we'll get the recording of this. If we'll get it, I don't need to ask my question. If not, I got distracted slightly when you were explaining when differentiation can be done wrong.
Okay.
So the scenario where you were giving, where you're giving a scenario of a parent when you just joined your new school, a parent saying your differentiated, your color-coded questions. That was where I actually got distracted. So I missed out that point. I don't know if you can revisit it.
I think from the thumbs up from those concerned, I think you will get a recording in your mail, most likely. A link to the recording. Most likely.
All right. So I don't keep us waiting. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much for that.
Yes, sir.
So thank you everyone. Thank you, Mr. Rotimi. I don't know if I should call you Mr. Rotimi or Mr. Robert. Or
I
Mr.
think
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel is the official appellation. The Rotimi is I use my personal Gmail to get into the meeting.
Okay. Mr. Emmanuel, thank you so much. Really appreciate this incredible section. So, and we hope our educators are leading with practical tools to make math engaging for all learners. So we have an announcement. Okay. So if you missed some part of the workshop, never mind. You can rewatch the workshop on our YouTube channel. That's on YouTube. That's at FarafinaEdu. And secondly, our new social studies edition will be introduced in August 2025. So new topics, new illustration, new cover pages. Stay tuned and please buy from Farafina directly. Don't go to the open market to buy. So as we are exploring this strategy that for these differentiating mathematics, don't forget to check out our interactive math resources. That's our Star Math textbook from textbook 1 to 6. I know most of our educators here have seen the book, so we are introducing it. So and also look out for our feedback. Look out for our feedback form. This will be shared on the FarafinaEdu WhatsApp group to get the link. Join the group, or you send us a DM. So thank you so much for attending our workshop. Bye bye.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, I have a question for Mr. Rotimi Roberts. Mr. Emmanuel.
I'm here.
All right. Once again, I appreciate everything you've said. Now I have a concern. In as much
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, my name is Omiji from
when it
Donum
comes to external
Christi.
examinations, when it comes
Mr.
to
Miji, can you
external
hold on for me?
examinations,
Okay, ma'am.
okay, let me come again, please, sir. I said thank you, sir, for this session you had with us. In as much as differentiated learning is very helpful in the class, during the class session learning period. Now, how will the low achievers not be left out, especially when they come in contact with external examinations? Getting to year 5, year 6, how will they be able to cope with high achievers questions when it's up to affect their performance?
Okay.
Because at that level, the external examination questions will not take into consideration that they are low achievers. All questions are set equally for all level of learning.
Exactly. At what point did you join the meeting, ma'am?
Okay, I joined like 15-20 minutes. But I think I lost out in between the session.
Yeah,
No,
I think
like
you will
15-20 minutes.
Okay. I think you benefit a lot more from the video recording, from the link that will be sent for the recording. I mentioned all those in the course of the discussions. It's something that is very pertinent to me. I mentioned the fact that number one, you have to share all your resources. Since most schools now go digital, in your digital classroom, share resources, number one. Number two, do not leave your low achievers out. Once your low achiever is able to solve a low achiever problem, extend them to the next level. And then when you review tasks that are done in class, even after the peer review and the group reviews, don't be afraid to call on the low achievers to answer a high achiever question. All you have to do is just prompt them and give them hints. I think I mentioned that. I'm sure you must have had that towards the end. So all these strategies are what we use to ensure that the low achievers don't remain there and they have exposure to other levels of questioning. And the fact that you send all these your resources home ensures that parents are also able to help their children. If not parents, then definitely their home lesson teachers. Because we know that low achievers need more time and need more exposure to the material. Does that answer the question?
Thank you, sir. Yes, it does, sir. Thank you very much, sir. God bless you.
Mr. Omiji Kelvin, your hand is up, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Please, I just joined now, and the little I can gather with my experience so far, I discovered that some students, having given them assignment from school, thinking that they will attend to it at home, both the parents and the children, they care less about it, and they will still bring the assignment back undone to the school. Is there any way we can really, because some school have a policy that we should not have the phone number of the parents and we
Okay.
shouldn't disturb the parent. If there's anything we want, we should ask the school management. And this matter of asking the school management is slowing down the situation. You understand? So I want, if there's any way we can really get the children do this thing right in the class instead of burdening them with assignment, taking home, and at the end of the day, they will still come back with the same thing. Is there any way, is there any new method we can apply to solve this matter, sir? That is my question.
Okay. There are so many strategies that can be used to do this, but it has to be an old school thing. It has to be an old school thing. I have a presentation, a training I did on this and so many more, interfacing with parents in a school. Be it as regards academics, be it as regards to school fees and so many things. Interfacing with parents, the role of the school, the role of the teacher, the role of the child, all of this, I have it in a training set, but we can communicate later. Is that okay, sir?